So, Richard, you did tout me on this last night, and I'm all ears. So what's your reaction?
Skip. As somebody who came into the National Football League in 2011 with Cam Newton in this draft class, he was an MVP of this league. He has every right in the world to give his opinion, and it's got to be a respected opinion because, you know, he has credibility in this league. But come the heck on, killer. Like, what are we talking about? It's not based on anything, Skip. It can't be based on anything because the names that you're saying are literally leading the league in categories right now. These aren't guys that are middle-of-the-pack guys, and statistically, they're not middle-of-the-pack record-wise. They're not middle-of-the-pack in any capacity. So if he was saying this in a year where, hey, they're 15th in yards or their offense is struggling or they just, you know, they threw 15 touchdowns in the season, these guys are leading. Tua Tagovailoa is leading the league in passing yards. Sure, he has weapons. Sure, he has Tyreek Hill, one of the best receiver in the National Football League right now. You can debate it with whoever you want. But he's still leading the league in passing yards. Dak Prescott is leading the league in touchdowns. Skip, how are you managing the game? You're leading the league in touchdowns. Now, sure, he had CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb is having an incredible season. But Dak Prescott is still leading the league in touchdowns, second in QBR, second in completion percentage. Like, if this was based on something, I'd be with him. I'd be like, okay. Now, there are guys, and then you got Brock Purdy. Like, what are we talking about? They're not winning because of these guys? So how? When Dak plays bad, they lose. When Brock Purdy plays bad, they lose. When Tua Tagovailoa plays bad, they lose. So it doesn't make sense for him to say that, especially with the way he played the game. It's like, hey, you were a dynamic playmaker, no question about it. But we're talking about guys that sit here, some of the most accurate passers in the league. And right now, Purdy is in his second year. You're talking about a second-year guy. We're talking about a second-year guy. They're playing effectively, efficiently. They're yards per catch, yards per attempt, they're accurate. They're pushing the ball down the field. Most 40-yard completions, most 30-yard completions, most 20-yard completions. Come on, Cam. Like, go ahead, Key.
Well, I'm going to try my best to extrapolate and explain to you.
Please.
Well, that's a big word.
Okay, I like that.
Every now and then I went to school. That Cam is trying to say. What he's saying, in my opinion, is when you talk about a game changer, Cam Newton was
manager versus changer. Yeah,
he was a game changer.
Oh, was he?
Especially at the beginning of his career.
All by himself.
Then he became a game manager at the end of his career, where he was known to be a turnover machine himself. So it became a game manager, don't turn the football over. But he is right in a sense, not about Dak Prescott, because Dak Prescott right now is a game changer. Right now. Jared Goff is a game manager because he has been known to give it to you at the wrong times in games and situations where Detroit was high the first half of the season. They're coming down because he's giving the ball to the other team.
Correct.
They're sitting there, and Dan Campbell said, please just don't turn the ball over, whatever you do.
He'd gone like, I don't know what, 500 throws without throwing a pick.
But he has gone back to why the Rams have gotten rid of Jared Goff.
That's true.
I understand what Cam is saying. Now, in terms of Tua is a nice quarterback in a situation where he can thrive and be successful. We saw when Tyreek Hill was not in the game. We saw when Tyreek Hill was in the game. A guy that misses his top dog can still be a game changer at the quarterback position. I understand that.
No, they can't. No, they can't.
That's not true.
No, they can't.
That's not true.
Show me. Give me an example. Show me an example. When Travis Kelce's not playing, Patrick Mahomes isn't the same player.
Patrick Mahomes is still balling.
No, he is not. When Travis Kelce's not playing, he's not playing well. When Stephon Diggs isn't there, Josh Allen isn't playing well.
Patrick Mahomes didn't drop 29 balls, man.
I'm not saying he did.
Kelce ain't having no hell of a year.
I'm not saying he did. I'm saying
my whole point to this, though, Richard, is when you get to Brock Purdy, he is moving into a category of a game changer. He is moving. Yes.
I think he's there, man.
I don't look.
The only thing that's holding you back is he was a 7th-round pick. If he was the number 3 pick in the draft, you would not have any justification for what you're saying.
I am saying that he is heading in that direction, and he has gotten there extremely fast. I am not saying that he is a game manager. What I am saying is he is headed into a game changer mode. No one is putting him in a game-changer mode despite how much you think they are. People are not yet.
Right,
They're
because
just not.
But they're not because their opinions are not. But it's not based on anything that you can tangibly say.
He's going to erase that in the next 4 or 5 weeks. He's going to erase all of that.
How? If he ain't done it in the first 13 games,
because he just
like one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Richard, you just said it, because he got drafted where he got drafted. They're not going to give him the benefit of the doubt until he steps up into that echelon, much like I talked about with Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner was just a guy. He went to win a Super Bowl. Then all of a sudden, you ain't had nothing to say because you couldn't say nothing. That is where Brock Purdy is headed. That is all I am saying. That's why I say Cam is right in some instance with these guys, and he is wrong in the other. Dak Prescott is so far beyond a game manager. In fact, maybe he was a game manager at points last year because he had a lot of turnovers in a short period of time, so people looked at that. But if you look at the prior seasons, he was not a game manager. He was actually a game changer for the Dallas Cowboys, just like he is this year.
Right.
That's why I say Cam is right. He's wrong about Dak, right about Tua, right about Jared Goff, and he's going to be wrong about Brock Purdy. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand.
Time out. The 1-2 in MVP right now is Dak barely over Brock Purdy.
I get that.
1-2, 2-1, 1-2, 2-1.
I understand that.
Cam is so wrong about the two top contenders for MVP that it invalidates and disqualifies everything else.
He may be wrong to very true. That's why I'm saying Brock Purdy can erase all of that in the next several weeks completely, where nobody will have anything to say.
All right.
Because you know what they're waiting on, Skip? They waiting on that little ball to drop. Just like those
They dropped 3 games, but
no. And what happened in those 3 weeks that they dropped those 3 games? Everybody was blaming Brock Purdy. Right. It was him. They wasn't looking at Trent Williams and Debo being gone. They was blaming him because he was low-hanging fruit. He can be low-hanging fruit, but he can erase all of that in the next several weeks.
All right, so allow me to use my favorite phrase, bigger picture about Cam. I'm still a big fan of his because what he did in 2015 was extraordinary.
Yeah.
That team had a very good defense, but he took that football team and just sat it on his broad shoulders and said, I'm going to carry you all the way to the Super Bowl. Then Von Miller happened, and he couldn't carry past Von Miller because Von Miller just wrecked the game, took the game over. But up to that point, with arm and legs, I've never seen anything quite like that. And this is a huge human being. This is 6'6"-ish, maybe 260.
I don't know what he is. I know when I first interviewed him for the first time, even though I've seen him in college, and I know he was big. That's all I can tell you.
Right.
I was like, God.
Big man, played bigger. And yet, he's only 34. And I keep saying, he's got football left in him. He could still play. He's 34 years old, okay? And yet, when he does this podcast or whatever it was, when this video gets out there and goes viral, too many NFL GMs, and if you want to say they're white, that's fine too, but too many are going to watch this and say...
Well, they are white, a lot of them.
A lot of them are white.
There's some black ones.
Well,
But
I'll bring it up. There are a few. But the point is, whatever color they are, especially the white ones, they're going to watch this viral video and say, this is just wacky stuff. You know, like this, Cam, you know more football than that, right? Come on, Cam. This is one of those so far out there that it makes you go, huh? Brock Purdy is the complete opposite of a game manager to me, because the only hope I, as a Cowboy fan, have is that he's the next Brett Favre. He tries things every game that make Kyle over there like put a hand over his eyes. He will try tight window, crazy cross body, cross the field throws where you say, young man, what are you thinking? Right? And he pulls most of them off because he got that in. It's his DNA. He's just going to wing it. He's just going to see it and feel it and try it.
I'm tired of hearing about people say it with nothing to do with anything going on the field. Like, all he does is put it on tape. If you can't convince people by playing great football at the highest level, in the highest level, then you aren't going to convince you. In the next 4 weeks, one second, let me finish, please. No, they shouldn't be. So I'm saying that's wrong. Like, he went to the playoffs last year. He played well. He went as a rookie. Like, we're not talking about a 5-year vet.
I'm pretty sure they're going to win the NFC Championship game if he doesn't go down. I'm just because they went and proved it 2 weeks ago at Philadelphia,
I just don't get it.
Calm your nerves.
No, I'm not calming my nerves because I'm tired of people having opinions that aren't based in anything. You're sitting there saying, well, he needs to prove it more. To prove what? He's leading the league in almost every category.
I understand what you're saying.
He needs to outperform being a 7th-round pick. He can't do nothing about that. All he can do is when he lines up on the football field, Keyshawn, he goes out there and plays at a really high level and helps his team win. He has done that consistently this season, and the only thing you tell me is he has to keep proving himself.
Are you listening or are you hearing me? Because I don't think you're doing either one. I'm trying to get you to understand the way people look at this, Richard. They're looking at him. I'm not. I already said at the beginning of the year, first thing I said is I need to see him do it a full season based on last year's games he played in the start of this season. I give him that. He is at the top of the list. But the mass of people, this is why this conversation keeps coming up about Brock Purdy. You got to let your emotions go. They want to see him take them somewhere. Once that happens, people will say, okay.
Are you listening to yourself? Are you listening to yourself? Because you do not make sense. Stop. We want to take him somewhere.
That's what they want.
Skip, he took them to the NFC Championship
I'm just telling you that's what they want.
But make it make sense.
That's what they
I'm
want.
not going to look at you, Key, because it don't make sense.
That's what they want.
I'm not
just
telling
you
because it doesn't make sense.
So you're just saying I need some more validation.
I don't.
Okay.
People out there that's getting on Richard's nerves. That's what they want.
So you take him somewhere. Hey, I want you to take him somewhere. A rookie 7th-round pick took the team to the NFC Championship. There are quarterbacks out there that you give more credit, ain't never touched a championship game.
Richard, I understand all that. I understand that.
I'm trying to understand. I can understand arguments and debates, Skip. I can understand, but arguments and debates without any substance, without any credibility, I do not understand, and it frustrates
me. And by the way, if you hear the first of this, I think Cam has a nickname for Brock Purdy because I think he called him Brat Parody. Brat Parody. I think that's what I heard. Brat is in.
I think his little Southern accent kind of got in the way of him saying Brock Purdy.
I'm not sure about that.
Even what he's saying about Dak, it's like,
Hey, but he went both ways. With Dak,
called him the
first he
playmaker.
calls him a game changer, and then he says, and Dak, I throw him in as a game manager. No, he's not.
But see, you're not listening to anything that I'm saying. If you think about the names, Brock Purdy, Tua, Jared Goff, and Dak Prescott, they haven't taken their teams to the place that people want them to be. Just when you listen.
I'm trying
for one, knucklehead, just listen.
I'm trying to.
Where he didn't say that about Joe Burrow.
No.
He didn't say that about Patrick Mahomes.
He mentioned Mahomes early as
but he
a
didn't
game
say
changer,
he didn't say game manager,
No, he
game
did not.
changer, because they have taken their teams to places that these guys haven't.
I don't think he even mentioned Burrow, but go ahead.
No, that's what I'm saying. He didn't mention them. That's all I'm saying. Where Brock Purdy, being Mr. Irrelevant, does not get the benefit of the doubt in people's eyes. He get it in ours, but not in people's eyes because he hasn't quite got to where they think he should be.
Stop saying the only other place he could have won is the Super Bowl. That's the only other place he could have won.
When you go to the Super Bowl, guess what? When you go to the Super Bowl, guess what?
He's a rookie. He was a rookie, and he took his team to the NFC Championship. You're saying your argument is saying he didn't take his team. Cam Newton has been to one Super Bowl, one NFC Championship. So Brock Purdy has been to the same amount of NFC Championships as Cam Newton, and he's going into his second. He's in the middle of his second year, so he technically could not be to another NFC Championship because it's only his second season. So for you to make the argument he hasn't taken his team where people want him to go, well, there's only one more game left after where he went.
Why in the hell is everybody knocking Brock Purdy if that's not the case?
Because what I'm just saying, they have no reason to knock him. It's insanity. It's the insanity of expectations.
So why does it keep happening?
Because it's the insanity of expectations. People put more credibility in where you were drafted than how you actually perform. They put more credibility.
What did Trent Williams say 2 days ago? He said if he were the second pick in the draft, we'd say he's the next Aaron Rodgers.
That is correct. This is why I'm saying, because he's Mr. Irrelevant at the bottom of the draft and hasn't taken them to where people expect want him to go, they're not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. If you are the second pick of the draft, the 8th pick of the draft, the 9th, the 12th, the 22nd, they're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. That's just what it is.
Okay, but I believe if Cam had sat down and carefully watched Seattle at San Francisco just this past Sunday, the way I just watched it on TV, the last thing you would think you were watching was a game manager.
No, game managers don't throw deep crossers to
That's what I'm
touchdowns
saying.
in stride.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.